Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So I'm finally at the CKz place. So before taking up for an interview or asking questions and knowing his journey, मैं सिर्फ आपको मैं ये बताना चाहूँगा कि मेरी मुलाकात उनसे कैसी हुई थी. This was in the year 2015, I guess. Yes, 2015 जब मैं ब्लड होम्स सेल करता था. At that point of time, local blood homes काफ़ी मार्केट में नए नए आए थे and people used to sell those called so-called sterilized blood homes. So yes, मैं भी blood homes sell करता था and somehow CK भाई reached out to me and said कि he wanted to buy blood homes for his shop. So I thought ठीक है, it's a customer, so I have to fulfill his requirements. So 10 kgs का order था and that's when I bought the blood homes from a supplier at a wholesale price and came here, and that was the one of the moment which I can recollect कि 2015 में मैं इनको मिला था blood homes देने. So hi friends, I'm back here. It's CK. How are you, CK bhai?
Fine, thank you.
After a long time.
Yeah, all good.
Okay, so I was just sharing the experience how I met you, and I can recollect it was in 2015. I came here with your blood homes order,
right.
And that's when I met here at this place.
Yeah.
So it's been a long journey, 2015, correct. And we are in 2023.
Correct.
7-8 long years.
Correct.
So I know your whole journey, whole experience, and kind of your discus keeping experience, how you used to keep your tanks and how it is right now. So I know everything, your history on the discus keeping journey, I would say, but let's share your journey to our viewers, to the discus enthusiasts across India or maybe global, who would like to follow you or maybe want to have some beautiful tank systems like you have currently. So before beginning to the discus journey, I had an intro section on you where I said you are an animal lover.
Yeah.
So apart from discus keeping, can you help us know what other animals you had currently having?
Yeah, earlier I had cockatiels from 2005 or so, and then unfortunately in 2016 I went to a shop and I saw a cockatiel sitting quietly, and I kind of felt sad for it and I bought it and I quarantined it sadly in the same room. So unfortunately it had a kind of cross bacterial happening in the birds and it wiped out my entire collection, and there ended my bird collection. Then in 2015 I started keeping discus, and I started as a hobbyist. I kept them, earlier I started with a few tanks and then I went into I think I went to 50 tanks at one point. The regular tanks you get to buy, those 3-foot ones. So I used to buy those tanks on a daily basis. Like I used to take 3-4 tanks every time they were ready. So I ended up with 50 tanks. So then I had stingrays and whatnot. After that, what happened was lockdown happened, and when lockdown happened, just before that I had monster fish, but they had grown too big for my tanks. So I felt bad for them because they were literally so big, and in my 5-foot tank they were just going round and round. So I felt bad for them, and I gave them away to people who have ponds so that they have more place to roam. Then in lockdown, I decided to redo all my tanks, and there was a massive project here where we had, during lockdown when it just started, we had 2 sets of teams who used to build tanks to come together because of the lockdown. Sometimes they were not able to travel, sometimes they were able to, how it was in the beginning.
Right.
So they came and they built the tanks, and we started the discus journey. And after that, coming back to the animals, I ended up with cats. Basically I used to go for my walks because I have diabetes type 2, so I used to go for my daily walks, and when I used to go for my daily walks, some kitten used to come to my foot. I mean, wherever I used to be tired sitting or something, some kitten used to find its way to my foot. I think I rescued at least 14 or 15 kittens so far, and super. In which we kept some here and some we gave to the villas near the Talav. 3 villas are there near the Talav. So I keep sending them food every month, the dry cat food. The caretakers of those villas take care of the kittens. They feed them, and every month they come and take the fresh batch of dry food from me. 5 or so are still in the house. One may be hiding around me somewhere. You'll see a head popping up somewhere here or there whenever she's in the confidence mode.
I can see he is on the right hand side of yours.
So what happened was I ended up rescuing I think 3 kittens in 3 months just recently. So then my wife said, what is this? You're going out for a walk and coming back with a kitten only. And this, what is going to happen? Like, So I actually stopped going for walks because I was like, see, I'm not going and rescuing a kitten from somewhere. Whatever was coming to my foot, I'm taking it as blessing of God and I'm rescuing it. So I decided, okay, I'm stopping my walks because otherwise I'll come back with more kittens.
So how difficult was it to convince your wife, getting those kittens?
Initially, I was shitting bricks. I mean, I was totally in fear. You know how everybody's wife is. And it's not a fault. I mean, how many people, how many cats, in a house, and along with the cats, the kharchi comes and then the cleaning part and all. Thankfully, I have a very solid army of house helps over here, domestic helps, and everybody who are helping me manage everything. In the meantime, I also found a rabbit on the street. I was coming in a rickshaw and I saw a rabbit lying on the side. That was in 2019. And I stopped the rickshaw, ran out and all and caught it, and I didn't feel any movement. Then I brought it home, then I put some water into the mouth, and then I felt like a heartbeat, and then it recovered fully and it became the mother of the one rabbit that I have now over here. So basically I have one rabbit, 5 cats in the house, about 20 cats in the villas around that are playing and all, who are raised by us for 1 year and then sent to the villa where they are living their life being fed by us. So as of now, that is the thing, other than the fish.
Superb. So apart from fishes, you have rabbits and cats at the houses, and even at the villas nearby the houses.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question would be, going back to the times when we were planning for discus competition. So I know I was connected with you. I came here. I packed the fishes too, and we went to the center to displace those fishes. But going back to the journey of getting a grand champion, and before that, maybe you want to go a little back, like 18 months before now. If you want to highlight some points, what went good during those period of time and what went bad during that phase of time.
Yeah. So
and I know getting a grand champion is almost an achievement, but you have to go through a lot of obstacles. So if you want to answer that question in bit detail, you can.
Okay, coming back to the during the lockdown, I did a whole set of new tanks. I bought a bunch of imported tanks. I decided to test out tank systems because my plan at that time was that I'll practice now for a few years. My father had just got dementia, so I was looking after him for what turned out to be 3.5 years till he passed away recently. And in the meantime, I had nothing to do because I had hired hospital ward boys, nurses, and all the carers. I think we had 7 staff in my house for the entirety of the period. So I had literally nothing to do but make sure nothing is going wrong. Everybody is doing their job. So I decided to dedicate my time to fishes. Now, in lockdown, I started as a hobby. At that time, when I had done my new setup, it was as a hobby. But then the people used to come. I used to give away my old tanks, those 50 tanks that I bought. Yes. So I used to give them away. So the people used to come, used to say, "Arey, we are not having anybody good to sell. Whoever selling any good fish says it's brute stock and refuses to give. And then whatever fish they don't want, they sell for very high price. We are not able to become breeders and all that." So I felt damn sad for that. So I took a manna that okay, I will raise fish and all, and I will give to breeders at a nominal cost. Mostly just the carrying cost of the fish and all. So it started over there. Then when I had done a mannat of 300 pairs, and my mistake was that I used to keep telling in the group that this many pairs are sold every day or every week or whatever, which was actually at cost. But I was doing it to help others because during lockdown many lost their livelihoods and also to help them earn money on the side. I was doing it as a charity thing, So, but then this was going into the eye of the bad guys who actually were trying to make the money from these people more than fair, So those guys were keeping eye on me, and suddenly overnight I became the most hated. Like that Abe Cornwalla CK scene started happening. So I mean, there are people. See, in this line you won't find your class scholar. I mean, nobody who came first in your class is going to come into this line in selling discus trade and all. He may be a hobbyist, but he's not going to be in the discus trade. So the discus trade is limited to a lot of people who are having it as their last line livelihood. Gaya to gaya, cut gaya, do it or die, that type of thing. So what happens is it becomes very competitive in this line, and you start getting hated by people if you are not towing the line of overpricing things and all. Like Pranav is one of the very few people I know who sticks to a decent price list, and he deals in quality discuss and has a proper price list where you get everything for a particular. It's not that today is this much, tomorrow is that much, and all for the same thing. It's a different thing if the size is bigger, but for the same product it's always a fixed price. So that is what I always suggest, that everything should have a fixed price, not see the customer and make the price accordingly. You know, अच्छे कपड़े पहन के आ गया तो उतारो उसके कपड़े. You know, it shouldn't be like that. So I was just trying to change the industry so that more hobbies come in and overall the industry grows as a whole. And that is what I've achieved. I believe I have achieved on the way to the GC. Now coming to the next question, which is about the GC part. Now see, Lords Bhai is like a elder version of me. He also likes to do things big like I do. So out of respect for him and love for him and fondness for him, I decided, okay, I'll make sure that at least 150 tanks what he had planned, I will make sure that I would make people fill it. The limit was 15 tanks, so I paid for my 15 tanks. Also there were foreigners who Lords Bhai could not accept foreign funds, so I paid for their 15 tanks and all for various brands. And you know, that way, and then I had to manage all the fish also. So actually my entries were only 15, and I was having all Indian CKz Discus in my 15 entries, because we were promoting Make in India. So CKz Discus was together with us at that show. So you know, in the meantime, my only aim was to fill Lord's tanks. So I was going around giving tana to everybody. Aja competition mein, aja dikha tu. If, you know, if you think you're better than me, you show me. It was all in friendly jest, you know, like just to fill the 150 tanks.
I remember that we used to spoke on the group. Yeah, it's just 100 tanks. You know, you can come ahead and book some more. So your recording, your voice recording would be always be there. You know, to encourage everyone to be part of the competition and book more tanks and everything. So yeah, that's how you motivated people to come and be part of the competition.
Yeah. So what happened was, Lords was undertaking something the first time in India. So I knew that he had a massive amount of expenses in front of him, because I was spending at that time, you know, to look after an elder person nowadays, 3 lakhs a month goes like this only. This room was his ICU, my father's ICU. So 3 lakhs a month between the hospital ward boys, maids and all, those salary goes. So I was left with a very nominal. I always put my father in priority. You know, I'm more of the Mahabharata type of fellow. Matlab Pita Parmeshwar type of thing. So I kept my father in priority, and only with the spare money I did whatever I did. So what happened was, I did my best to help others get income from other sources, so that the show could be done in a much more good fashion and everything. So I am very grateful for the show. Of course, others, see, in this line there are many who hated each other from 10 years back. They all did politics. I was the shoulder for both sides. One kept gun this way, one kept gun that way. But I was actually unpolitical. Means I was stuck in the middle, so to speak. तो उसमें एक दो सीन हो गया शो में, but all in all, even I didn't know I was going to get GC. I was actually so sad just before GC. Derek, who was managing the whole thing for me, he came and said, CK, anyway, it's all done. So come down and sit in the hall and all. Only for that reason I went. Otherwise, I had no hope of winning GC and all. I had given up hope, because I was being fed all negative stuff from people. But I did my best for Lord's show, and I made sure that I supported as much as I could. And in the end, I got GC. So I'm very grateful for that.
So CKz bhai, we were talking about the Grand Champion and you know, our journey towards the Grand Champion. So I just wanted to know, what was your homework? How did you prepare yourself and the tanks and the fishes that were coming? You know, those were being participate for the competition. So can you go back again like 18 months back and recollect what was the story behind it and how did you arrange and everything?
Yeah, so when Lords organized announced the competition, there was very little time left. I think 4 months only left. So immediately I called Derek and my team, and we started building tanks. And I believe Aditya of Now was gracious enough to give me 8 of his cubes that he was giving away. And then I tested out those 8 cubes, and then I decided to make. I was so impressed that the system that I gave away those to another person, and I made entire set of 14 cubes for myself, brand new, I put the competition fish each in a cube, and I gave them the same training that ideally in a contest, all the tests that happen.
Every contest has a cubic size and 18, 18, 18 or maybe 15 into 15.
Correct.
So you kind of replicated same kind of environment at your home.
Correct.
The setup.
Correct. Okay. And when I did that, what happened was, I was lucky enough that Jagger chose me to represent their fish also. So
Jagger from Indonesia.
Yeah, Jagger from Indonesia. They are two very wonderful fellows. There is William, I believe, and Dendi Vijaya, both very good brothers and very nice people.
So they wanted to be part of the competition, and they connected you or the Lord's guy?
They wanted to be part of the competition, and they connected to Lords, and Lords guided them to me because he could not directly, being an organizer, he could not take part in the contest on any part to avoid any favoritism kind of allegations and stuff like that. So Lords did the competition very holistically, like very fairly. I had no complaint about anything, but I took care of all the fish that came from abroad. I did, like I said, my idea was only to help Lords, because I consider him a very senior, and I respect him a lot, and I'm very fond of him as well. So whatever, as a brother, as a friend, whatever I could do for him, I have always done for him, and I continue to do for him, and I will continue to do for him.
Superb.
So anyway, so coming back to the contest, what happened was, initially I decided to get 15 imported fish. Then Lords contacted me and said, CK, this is a Make in India initiative, so why don't you get 15 Indian fish and compete with that? So I said, okay Baba. So then I tied up with Sam, who was gracious enough to support me with the 15 fish and everything. And I'm very glad that a farm of the caliber of Sam's, a fish from that farm got GC. And of course, see, everybody has their own choice. Some people may say some other fish deserves GC, some people may say some other person deserves GC, but in the end, I did not press some button to make myself the GC. Whatever came, I accepted. Anything good came, I accepted. Anything bad came, I accepted. So the GC also came, so I accepted it. Thank you. My school is Saint Teresa School. She said just was it too, means I choose all. Whatever you give me, I accept, whether good or bad. So in the good one, GC also came in my hand. So frankly speaking, I was actually I can say this very honestly, that how much I have done for Discus, very few in the world will have done. Means how much I have done given the circumstances. I had a demented father to take care of. My own health was bad. Sometimes I used to sleep 3-4 days because of vertigo and not be able to stand up. 15 days sometimes I used to just lie down and not be able to wake up with body pain. Of course, now 4 months back it stopped. We did my blood test and found out everything was bad in the blood, means everything that should be normal was high, and all the vitamins were low. So I was in a very bad situation. So given those circumstances, I did my best, and better than my best. Most of the other people would not have been able to do what I did given my health. Of course, any healthy person will think, what is this guy talking about? But only the guy suffering knows what he, today I am healthy mainly because of people's prayers and blessings for having helped so many. The last 2-3 months, thankfully, nothing has happened. Otherwise, in the same room, I have slept 15 days not being able to stand up because of so much pain. It feels like one herd of elephants was standing on each side of my body. So I have suffered a lot, and in that suffering, I have done my best to help the hobby.
So CK bhai, when we say that you arrange a cubicle similar to the competition setup, you got 15 fishes from Jagger and 15 from Sam's, from Sanjay sir. So you took care of them. So what was the feeding schedule, water change, and what efforts you took to take care of them? I know being winning a grand champion itself is a huge achievement, but going through all those stages to make a fish get a grand champion. So I'd like to know what were your efforts you put in maybe prior to 1 month of getting the GC.
Yeah. Okay, so I am a big fan of two things. One is respect for my time and filtration. These are the two things. Many people keep a pure white tank without any filtration. Maybe they may put a sponge filter or something, but they have to do siphoning, water change all the time. I am not a believer in menial labor like that. I believe in filtration. Filtration can run your tank for 15 days as long as you don't overfeed and the food is not lying around. You feed the fish exactly what they need. You don't have to water change for 15 days, 20 days, no problem.
So multiple feeding in a day?
Yeah, I do 2 to 3 feedings a day depending. Like I said, I'm unwell, so sometimes I have vertigo, I can't stand up, I get chakkar in the head. Sometimes, so once a day is sure, I've always managed to do once a day, sometimes 2 times a day, sometimes 3 times a day, and especially on the day before water change, I do a extra feed, so that they get in the extra resources before and then immediately after the water change, because fish mostly eat a lot just before a water change and just after a water change. Because of the temperature fluctuation, their body burns a lot of calories in their body, so they eat a lot also because their system is worked at that point.
Okay, so grooming Discus for a competition itself, speaks a lot. The genetics and the coloration and the shape of the Discus. So how did you selected those Discus? I understand Jagger would have sent it directly here.
Yeah.
But what about Sam's?
See, like I said, I was a hobbyist. My heart is in the right place. Sam selected the fish. I always told, here what happens in this line, many people have a habit of लगाने टोपी. If you select a fish, they'll blame you. भाई तूने select किया था, मेरा उसमें कुछ था नहीं. So I told everybody, y'all send me your best fish, because in the end I'm representing y'all. Y'all all send me your best fish. So whatever they sent. Sadly, with the Jagger, the repacking was bad. The repacking meaning the fish reached properly to the Indian receiver, and then his packing was probably bad, or the airline mishandled the box, and somewhere the bag got spiked. When I received one of the fish, it was totally in a dry bag, and I kept my hand like that. I kept that fish up for 2 days. There was no way he could compete the way he was.
I think that was a spotted leopard. I've seen
yeah.
the
And
photos as
I
well.
held him up like this for 2 days, and after 2 days my hands started paining. I used to do like this and all every few minutes, you know, because my
Right.
arms started paining. Then I put a Bisleri bottle next to him and kept him near the glass so that he could keep standing, because he had totally come in a dry bag. But he stayed alive for 108 days after that. He passed away on the 108th day, but he stayed alive for 108 days. So that I believe that is a big achievement, to take a fish from a dry bag and actually keep him alive for that long. That fish had literally become like my pet. Like, it recognized me as the lifesaver, and it always, you know, kept looking at me, kept coming to me. The relation I had with that fish, I have never had with any other fish. No matter, see, fish always come to you for food, but this fish actually used to recognize me and all as, yes, this person saved my life. So the relation I had with that fish is very special, and I will always remember. Also, I believe that in adults, Jagger was the best brand I got, because their fish maintained their quality over the year. I got every brand, means thankfully, by grace of God, money has never been a problem. No matter how bad or tight I've been, I've always had enough money to buy Discus. So I bought from every brand. I believed IP was very good and Jagger was very good. Jagger in adults, IP I've always bought the smaller sizes. I've never bought big size IP, so I cannot comment on the big size, but Jaggers came big size only. And their fish, the quality, the skin, the health, they never had bloat, never had any health issue, never had their skin shine stayed after a year also. You know, and there were some brands that came which are not IP and Jagger. There were other brands that literally you bought the fish, and like a fruit, after 1 month the color's gone, the fish is gone, and after that the water's also gone. It's all gone there. You know, so those
I think,
brands, yeah.
in such stages, I would say the water parameters didn't match to their expectations. I mean, once the fishes are imported, you have to keep those fishes in such water parameters, or, you know, you
Right.
would like to keep them healthy. So I feel that the person who is, you know, taking care of the fishes couldn't put that efforts to, you know, keep those fishes in the perfect condition.
Yeah. So what happens is, with you have to understand that in the end we have a limited budget. This is a hobby. We cannot take food out of the family's mouth and look after the fish so much, spend so much money. So whatever suits the water parameters in India is best, what I say. The lesser your expense, the happier you are. The better the quality of your Discus, the lesser your expense. So automatically when you buy good Discus, you save a lot of money. Now if you were to buy cheap Discus and then the fellow fell sick and you have some heart, you will go and spend 1800 on a bactocide or some medicine like that, and by the time you see, tens of thousands have gone in medicine, but your fish was cheap. But on the other side, you take an expensive fish and that fellow never falls sick, so you saved money on the medicines. Not to mention, some medicines I spent 2000 on a bottle on and they didn't do the job. I went to the medical chemist and I got an IV of 17 rupees. I just put IV like that for 1 week and the fish was okay. So you can imagine that how much extremes are there, where you go and buy 2000 rupee medicine and it doesn't work, and the same medicine in a 17 rupee bottle does your job. So in this industry, you have to know all these things. You have to know what works, what does not work. Otherwise, it's very easy to lose money. Like I said, thankfully, I have never been lacking of money, mostly due to my father's efforts. But you know, I was able to experiment with various brands, various medicines, various conditioners, various foods, and decide on the best from my own experience. I didn't have to listen to somebody else. I had my own experience, my own fish, every brand. I saw what is there to have, and I made the choice. You know, as the saying goes, a single brand car showroom will only sell you cars of that brand, but a multi-brand car showroom will actually sell you the best of what he has, because he has 4 brands. He is making the same thing in all 4, so he will actually tell you the best one. So same way I am. I've got so many brands and experience with so many brands. I will literally tell you, okay, this is the best one, don't go for that one.